Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about action cameras in general for motorcycle riders. Stay tuned. First of all, I would like to mention that I'm not supported or sponsored by anybody. Now, you need to ask yourself one question. What do I want to do with that video? The answer to that question makes all the difference. Are you a motoblogger or a filmmaker? Or just somebody who wants to show off that first wheelie of yours with your friends? Second, the equipment that you have. If you want to create more engaging videos, you'll need more than one camera, all working together, but each camera is pointing to a different direction. It really comes in handy when you want to highlight a specific moment in that video. There are many companies that produce action cameras now. Do your research in order to choose the camera with the quality and the price tag that suits you. 4K is nice, but do you need it? In my opinion, you should be more concerned about things like the quality of the camera sensor and how it handles situations like backlight, and the frame rate at 1080p to capture that sweet slow motion. You also need to consider the type of mounts that are compatible with your camera. The GoPro style are very common. If your camera happens to have a different type of mount, like this quarter-inch, then you need a conversion adapter. When buying a new camera, also consider where it can be mounted, stabilization, waterproofing, shooting in low light conditions, and connectivity. Connectivity is really important in my opinion, especially when it comes to audio. I have seen a lot of motovloggers who have no issue with video and camera positioning, but when it comes to audio, it's a nightmare. In some cameras, you can plug your 3.5mm microphone directly to the camera, and in some cameras, you need a stupid adapter like this one in order to plug your microphone. And in some, like this one right here, I can use Bluetooth connectivity to connect my headset. And the audio will be much better if the camera or the headset have noise cancellation feature. So, here you have it. I have the Sina SMH5 on my helmet. So you can imagine if you have a better device, what the audio is going to sound like. And if you're a serious motovlogger or filmmaker, you can always use one of these Zoom microphones, and then you can use a video editing software in order to synchronize your audio with the footage. It's not mandatory. I don't use it myself, but it's an option. Now, there are lots of places on your motorcycle where you can put a camera, but always think about the result. You don't want to end up with useless footage like this. The first and most common place where you can put a camera is on the chin of your helmet. This location is one of my favorite because it gives the viewer the sense of everything that's happening. It also gives the sense of your speed, and that's exactly why it's much better than the top of the helmet, which eliminates that sense. And from a filmmaker's point of view, please keep in mind not to move your head too much for no reason, or too fast because it makes the viewer uncomfortable. The second location is on the chest. I like this one because it's more stable than the head, and it's not really far from the head location. I use it a lot here in Yemen because it makes it possible for me to cover the camera with my jacket so nobody would notice it. Otherwise, our brilliant government will think that I'm an American spy. The third location is on the fuel tank. In my opinion, you can use this location to focus mainly on the dashboard, showing only a little portion of the road, in order to show the viewer how fast you are riding, for example. Depending on your dashboard height and the type of windscreen you have, you can use extensions to put the camera in a higher position. But I wouldn't recommend using too many extensions, it will make the camera unstable. The fourth location is on the handlebar. On the handlebar, of course, you can point the camera to any direction. but the main directions are forward, which will eliminate the dashboard from your footage depending on your camera angle, and backwards, or even at you. Keep in mind that the camera will move every time you steer that handlebar. Location number 5, the rear end of the bike, right behind the rear seat. In my case, it's the rear seat cowl. You can point your camera to any direction, and depending on the camera's height, it really engages the viewer as if he's sitting behind the rider. You can also point the camera to the side so people will enjoy the scenery as you ride. I shot a 360 video a couple of weeks ago from that position. You can check the video here. Location number 6, the frame. Because it's closer to the engine and to the ground, it gives a higher sense of speed and lean angles. It works really well, especially when combined with other footages when racing on a track or climbing that steep hill. The 7th location is on the swing arm. Two main directions for this one to point your camera: forward so people would see your gear shifts, or how you handle the rear brake if installed on the right side, or backwards. And of course, you can always be creative in finding new places to mount your camera and get different results. In general, there are other tools that you may consider, like a gimbal. If you don't have one, check your camera if it has image stabilization feature. It won't be perfect, especially with extreme movements, but it will help stabilize your footage. And don't forget, most, if not all of those action cameras can capture your favorite time lapses, recording your favorite time of the day, or the places that you and your sweet ride may visit. I really hope that you found this video useful. If you like it, hit the like button, subscribe, and ride safe.